I am the true alpha male, the living legend of hair loss. Some of you may not be aware, but I took a 2-month hiatus this year from making hair loss videos. Actually, I only returned during coronavirus to give people a distraction from all the bad stuff that's going on in the world. I thought, hey, the people need this, so I'm gonna give this to the people who need it. But I took 2 months off to explore a different series called Self-Help Hacker. And it was no talk about hair, but instead helping people to become confident in themselves and embrace who they are and become better people and realize what actually gives them value. Well, guess what? There was no buzzwords in those titles of those videos. So people didn't watch them, people didn't care about them. But a lot of that information that I used in those 73 videos that I made, I am applying to these videos. And it's funny because I found this sticky note here of some video ideas that never got made because I switched back to the hair videos. So I'm looking at this one, and I think this is a good one that I can use that can, you know, talk about hair. The video idea for Self-Help Hacker, it would have been called "The Need for Sympathy Makes You Weak." You know, and there was another one called the Need for Confirmation Makes You Weak. I know I've talked about that before, but I want to especially talk about this with hair loss. The need for sympathy makes you weak. So there's certain things in your daily life that if you live your way a certain life, other things will sort of work themselves out. So I want to share with you this story about who I used to be. I used to be a person who wanted sympathy from people when I felt that I deserved it. Granted, I'm not that person anymore. I do not expect any sympathy from anybody because in my brain, needing sympathy equals with being a victim. And I am not a victim, I'm victorious. I find a way to be victorious and I refuse to identify as a victim. But when I think of sympathy, I think of victim. Now granted, do I give sympathy to others? Absolutely. Because a strong, confident male is going to find ways to help other people sort out their own problems. Yes, a confident male has his own problems to sort out, but he's more focused on helping other people with theirs. So I'm not seeking sympathy from anybody. Do I need sympathy? I can't even think why I would, but I will tell you I wasn't always this way. And I remember, I'm going to tell you a story you've never heard. So this story takes place right around 20 years ago. And there was a girl that I was dating for a while, and been about a year actually. And I remember I, quote, had a bad day at work and in school. I was in college at the time. So, a long distance relationship. I came home from whatever bad days at classes I had, and then to my job, you know, which was working at an after school program, like being a manager there, whatever it was. As a 20-year-old, I had a bad day. And I was on the phone with my girlfriend at the time, and she's like, hey, how's it going or whatever. And I, as an immature 20-year-old said, well, it's been a bad day. So then I explained why it was a bad day. You know, I guess classes were hard and my job was stressful. Maybe somebody said something that bothered me or it was stressful, whatever it was. And her response was, wah, wah. You know, in hindsight, I think that's hilarious because that person I just described is not me now. I would never even say that. If I had a bad day, I wouldn't tell you about it other than I may admit the challenges that I faced, but as I would tell the story, I would tell you how I overcame it, or ultimately I would recognize that it happened, but I didn't care about it. At best, or at worst, that's what I would say. But as an immature 20-year-old, I took it personally, and I got my feelings hurt, and I felt disrespected. And that, for me, was the moment that I decided I was going to end that relationship, and I did. And granted, that was 20 years ago. You know, if it weren't that, it would have been something else. It wasn't who I was meant to be with. I ended up with the person who I definitely was meant to be with. And, you know, 12 years ago or whatever it was when we started dating, she was sympathetic in the way that I needed it. Because still in my 20s, I was still that person. Well, because either way, I was in my 20s. I was 20, in the first part of the story, I was in my mid-20s when I met my wife. Either way, my wife provided that sympathy that I needed. Now, granted, now do I need the sympathy? Absolutely not. I do not need anybody to sympathize with me, but I need to sympathize with others. Because again, it goes back to helping other people with their problems and not yours. So I know that we're 5.5 minutes into this video. You're like, but Nick, what is this, a bait and switch? You promised me you'd talk about hair loss in the video. That's the reason I'm here. Okay, fine. I'll talk about the thing that you want to talk about, because it's about helping other people with their problems, right? Not about me. No one cares about me. They care about you and you're, I'm going to go bald. Okay, fine. Let's talk about that. Let's swing it back over to you. Okay, here we go. The need for sympathy makes you weak. So I think this definitely is related to anyone who is fearing that they're going to go bald, which is most of my viewers. It's not that most of my viewers are bald or balding. It's that they're young and fearing that they will go bald and no one will love them or like them. But imagine this. Imagine if you need sympathy about your hair. Imagine that. Imagine if you eventually do start noticeably having receding hairline and other people notice it. What if you need sympathy for that? But see, that's the opposite of being a masculine male, is you don't want anybody to sympathize for you. You do not want anybody to feel bad for you. So what if you're 25 in Norwood 4? Well, why are you not shaving your head and working out would be my question. Because that's what you do. That's how you deal with it. That's your DNA. Accept it and move on. You're not, because otherwise what? You're expecting pity from people? Oh, feel bad for me. I'm in my 20s and I'm balding. Why me? Look at all those other guys. They get to keep their hair. I wish that could be me, but nobody likes me. Me. But as you grow up, you realize it's not about me. It's about them. It's about everybody else. And do I matter as a human being? Yeah. You know how I matter? Them. I matter because of all the people around me and what they need from me. Do I need anything? If I do, I'll find a way to get it myself. I figured that out myself and not let it be somebody else's problem. When you're thinking like a boy, though, there's that part of you where you feel slighted. You feel like you're the victim. And you want someone to sympathize with you. I don't need that. I needed that when I was 20 and I didn't get it and that relationship ended. And then I met someone who did give me that sympathy. And then I grew up and don't need it anymore. But I've also, again, realized it's about giving other people sympathy. They need that. They need to have that psychological conditioning. I don't. I truly don't. I don't need confirmation from other people that I'm a good person or anything like that. I know who I am. Am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that matters are other people. That's what gives you value. You do matter. You have value. God put you on this earth for a reason. But the story's not really about you. And that's the irony. God has a purpose and a plan for you. But that purpose and plan probably has to do with you helping other people. So imagine in God's big plan, God has a plan for your life and your life and your life. And you know what that plan for your life and your life and your life is? Your life and your life and your life. It's helping all the people around you. That's God's plan for your life. But when you're focused on yourself, how can you do what you were created to do, which is help other people and give value to their identity by helping them through the stuff that they're going through. So if you're worried about going bald, maybe you need to go bald so that you can relate to other people around you. And more so than relating to bald people is being the confident, decisive man that people need. People need men. They do. No, I'm not some alt-right political guy. There are not the level of genuine masculine males and leaders like there used to be before. Now we can praise men who are not that, and that's a thing. But it only gives that much more value to those of us who are willing to be masculine men, decisive, and leaders, and quick to be focused on sympathizing with others, focusing on them, not on themselves. Me. No. Them. I'm always looking for other people to help. Not to sugarcoat their problems, but to genuinely be there for them and help them through it. Not to just make them feel good about themselves, but to think, What's the way that I can help this person? What do they need to hear? Some people don't need much at all other than, I'm here for you. Tell me what happened, what you're going through. I may not be able to relate, but I'm here for you. What if that's all people really wanted from you? And what if they liked you more if you became that person? Your comments are right here.